Yeah, guys, you read the title right. I sold it. Sold the Road Warrior. Now, let me explain why I sold the Road Warrior. To make all this make sense, we're gonna have to go all the way back to 2010, middle of 2010, and just explain to you the story of that car that I've had 14 years. That is essentially family, and maybe it'll make sense as we go along. But all right, so in 2010, I got divorced, and it was pretty ugly. Pretty much lost everything, and had to start over. At the time, I had a company vehicle, and I had a regular cab short bed 95 F-150. Pretty sick truck. Wish I still had it. And we had an expedition for kid duty. Well, when the divorce happened, I had the truck, which was, like I said, a regular cab, and I had two daughters, which I had 50% custody in. And it was difficult because the kids were extremely young then, and carting them around in a regular cab truck, one of which was, my youngest was still in a car seat. It didn't work out too well. So long story short, I traded a local guy I knew for Project Road Warrior, what you know as Project Road Warrior, which is my 92 LX. And so at that point, again, that was my only car at that time, and we went everywhere in it, and took them up to Illinois to visit family for Christmas, took them down to Atlanta for Thanksgivings, and visiting my brother who lived down there at the time. And that was it. My oldest daughter was in the front seat, my youngest was in the back seat in a car seat, and it did the job, and never missed a beat. And it also was one of those things that through that difficult time, that period of adjustment and rebuilding my life, it kind of kept me sane. I had multiple Fox bodies over the years, I think 17 total at that time. It was a lot, but that car was all I had. And when I didn't have my kids, that was something that kept me busy, gave me something to do, and kind of made me feel like everything was all right. Just go out and do stuff here and there to it, and it was pretty much kept me sane through all of that. So fast forward to 2012, back on my feet, and things are kind of getting back to normal. And I was able to take the money and have the time to really start going after the car and building it. Ended up having to replace the original engine with a motor out of a wrecked 01 Explorer, because I had chewed up cam bearings, which is kind of odd. Not really sure how that ever happened, but it had chewed up cam bearings, so I had to replace that. And did a truck flow top end kit, did the Explorer upper and lower, had the lower intake ported by Tom Moss, which I don't think he's doing it anymore. Maybe his son is, I'm not sure. But did an E303 cam, put my Pony R's on it. Really got to do it the way I wanted to, and it was freaking awesome. Loved it. Love that car. All right, so fast forward to 2014. That was when I was kind of developing this sense of I just wasn't happy with my life in general. There was something missing. I never slept well, and always just something was off. Something wasn't right. And that's when I really started getting into personal development and trying to figure out myself. And, I just had this sense of, you're not cut out to just work this job your entire life and be freaking unhappy. And, I'm not, it's like I didn't want to just be this cog in this wheel my entire life. So started doing a lot of reading and listening to like personal development podcasts, watching videos on YouTube, stuff like that. And decided that I wanted to start my own business and change my life. And essentially that's what I did. So around that same time, I knew that I wanted to start Foxcast Media. And Foxcast Media was not supposed to be a YouTube channel. I didn't start YouTube until almost 2018. Foxcast Media was an online magazine, my version of an online magazine that was devoted to the Fox body, because back then all these big media companies, all they focused on was the new stuff. That's where the money was. That's how they got sponsors and sold ads and all that. Screw the Fox body. There wasn't all these million YouTube channels. There wasn't all these million Facebook pages, Instagram pages devoted to Fox body. That wasn't there back then. And, for me, these cars meaning so much to me, I was like, if nobody else is going to do it, I'm going to do it. But I knew I needed a lot of stuff. I needed money. And, we had, my two daughters and my wife's daughter, and, she worked and I worked and we were doing all right, but I didn't have just a bunch of money to lay out to start a business, to buy all the stuff that I needed, all the stuff you don't think about adds up to a lot of money, and I didn't have it. So in all my reading and, all the research I did, all the stuff I was learning, I figured out if you want something, you have to go full bore. You can't half-ass stuff. And if you don't go 100%, that's the key. You have to go 100% in. How bad do you want? That was the question. And I had one thing that would generate me enough money to be able to do what I wanted to do. That one thing was my car. And so in my mind, I'm like, how am I going to start a Fox body based media brand and I don't even own one? I can't do that. It's like, I'm not going to take out a loan. That was a lot of the other stuff that I read, don't go into debt to start, don't do all that. If you really want something, you got to go after it. And so that's what I did. I sold it. Actually, I sold it to my brother-in-law who had wanted it for a long time. And that was my commitment. That was my commitment to do this. I was going to start a Fox body based media brand. I didn't have a car. That was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. I was like, man, screw that. I said, that car is everything to me, aside from my family, obviously. And had so much history wrapped up in it. But I sold it. And the promise was made, if he gets tired of it, whatever, sell it back to me. I get first dibs. So I started Foxcast Media, my online magazine, did features on the website, Instagram and Facebook. Like I said, didn't even start YouTube till almost 2018, and had to pretty much hide the fact that at that time I didn't have a Fox body, and that wasn't easy at all. I think the most important lesson I learned from that was that you have to prove you want something. You got to prove that you're all in. You're all. And I was. I worked my ass off, guys. I worked 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. 5 days a week. And I would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, work on building my website. No clue how to build a website, but I figured it out. So I would go to the gym first at 4 a.m. Then I would go home and work on the website until, I had to get up and get the girls ready for school and get myself ready, for work. And then, get off work, go pick them up, come home, dinner, homework, all that. And as soon as I was able, basically until bedtime, I worked on growing the Facebook, growing the Instagram, and, improving the website. And did that for 2 straight years, essentially. Saturdays and Sundays, writing articles for the website, messaging people. I would literally sit and message and DM guys, trying to get feature cars. 5, sometimes 6 hours on Saturdays, Sundays. And did that for 2 straight years. And it started taking off. So fast forward to we're now at 2016. My brother-in-law they had their second child, and he's like, hey, I think I'm ready to let the car go. And I didn't necessarily have the money, but that was one of those where, you just figure it out again. And so we came up with a deal, and I brought the car home. And so at that point, I finally had a car. Made life a lot easier for content, and not having people ask, well, what do you got? So that's when I was really able to start. I would do small projects and write articles. Again, Foxcast Media was not YouTube. It was not YouTube at all. Didn't do anything on YouTube other than use it for hosting, to do little, I used to call them Fox Life videos. They're still on my channel. And, but I didn't say, hey, go check out my YouTube channel. They were embedded into the website. And that's what I used it for. And then I would do like install videos or little repair videos, whatever, like tutorial, how-to stuff. And those were all, the only reason they were on YouTube is for the free hosting. They were embedded into the website. And so it really started taking off and doing well. So late 2016 and going into 2017, that's when I named the car the Road Warrior. And I did it. I had 2 different reasons. The first reason is I wanted to encourage people to get their cars out and drive them more. But the underlying reason was I wanted to get out and go to these events and promote the brand and help grow it. But I didn't have the money for a truck or a trailer. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to have a booth and my merch and all of that, and show up at these events and, look impressive like, a brand should. And I didn't have the money for that. Everything I had was going into the brand. And so I named it the Road Warrior. And my little claim to fame back then was I fit a 10x10 booth display in the hatchback of my car. So I had a 10x10 Easy Up, 2 folding chairs, a 6-foot table that folded in half, And I could fit 2 boxes of merch right up against the back seat. So I would pull up to like Streetcar Takeover and other events like that, and take the entire booth out of my car and set it up and park the car next to it, and it looked, like I had a full-size display. I mean, I did, but not exactly what you were thinking. So essentially, that's how it went all the way up into 2019. I drove that car to Mustang Week. Got stuck in the rain. I got water in the fuel pump relay because it was raining that hard. And my good buddy Mike Stallings and Captain Jack Swags came. It was probably midnight. Drove 60 plus miles, Mustang Week 2017, and brought me a fuel pump relay on the side of the road somewhere in South Carolina, 60 miles outside of Myrtle Beach. But drove it to Foxtoberfest. I was the only tent, essentially, other than like the Brothers and Sisters Club of America or whatever that other organization they use. I was the only one. And drove it everywhere. I didn't get my F-250 until, I believe, May of 2019. And while that doesn't seem like a big deal to most people, to me, to be able to do that, that was me leveling up. And it was a great feeling. But that car has been there through the divorce, my only car, taking my kids to see family, to starting my business, to growing my business to where it is today. The whole time. So that's the story of that car. I know a lot of my OG guys, they know the story, but if you're somewhat new to the channel, this it's been a long road. I'm 8-9 years into doing this now, and always looking to grow and evolve, and that's why we do other stuff on the channel and try to give you guys a good variety of stuff. But when I say humble beginnings, doesn't even begin to describe it. Doesn't even begin to describe it. I'm not some social media guru. I don't have a tech background. I just loved these cars, and I'm sick and tired of all these big corporate media companies not giving them any love because they couldn't make any money off of them. And I was like, you know what? I'll do it myself. I didn't really know how, but I figured it out. You guys would have laughed if you saw. I wish I had screenshots of my first website. It was the most horrible thing you've ever seen in your entire life. But like the Facebook page started at 0, August 20th, 2015. Instagram 2 weeks later started at 0. YouTube is this November or December of 2017, started at 0. And been able to do so much, and to see where the Fox body is now compared to where it was back then. I feel like I achieved my goal, which was to give the Fox chassis, the Fox body, a relevant place in the automotive sphere, I guess you'd say. To give the cars that never got any respect their respect. And I'm proud to say I had a hand in that. It's amazing the way they've exploded now. The builds that are coming out. The new parts. everything. It's amazing. A million YouTube channels, a million Facebook pages, a million Instagram pages. I'm telling you, go back when I started Foxcast Media, wasn't any of them. And I feel like that goal of giving the cars a big platform and making them relevant, I'm going to say goal achieved.